Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about something that's very important. I've mentioned this over the years in different videos in different ways, but I want to give you a quote from someone in history who's a famous philanthropist. She started the National Congress of Mothers that eventually merged with another group and became the PTA system that's in the U.S. today, or the Parents Teachers Association in schools. And it's this. It's a brilliant quote from this philanthropist. Don't ever be afraid to start small. Now, this can seem a little contrary to the idea that I talk about a lot of thinking big, dreaming big, expecting big, believing for big things, but it's not. It goes hand in hand with it. It is just being cautious on your way to those big things. So what will happen sometimes, and I get this regularly where people will say, well, I have this business idea, and I'm looking at taking out a loan for $50,000 to start this business. Like, wait. What is the business? And they're going to be reselling clothing or something. Well, have you sold any? Not yet. I got to get the money first. And no, you do not. You have clothes of your own that you're not wearing, probably. Start selling those first. This is often what people do is they jump in without proving the water first, without proving the system works, without proving their idea is viable, and they want to go get a $50,000 loan or a $100,000 loan, mortgage their house or do insane things like that, because they think that, well, if I just stretch myself thin and I really put it out there and I go all in, then that's going to somehow turn this in my favor, and God's going to work it out for my good. Listen, if you make a foolish mistake, that won't work out for your good, at least not immediately. You're going to cause yourself a lot of suffering, and needless suffering, of course, and failure, instead of just getting in there, starting small, proving the system, getting it working, figuring out all the things that need to be done differently. Maybe the way you were doing things was not working right. You don't want to start big on something you haven't even proven yet, or you do not know the proper methods to get the business going properly. Because it's much harder to change a business once it's up and running and big than when you're just getting started. And it's very likely if you go from nothing to big, you're going to have a lot of mistakes in the middle there, and a lot of processes need to be changed, and a lot of issues in your business. And because the stakes are bigger, because you didn't ramp up to that point, there's more of a chance of failure. And not just failure, disastrous failure. Now, none of this is to say you don't think big. But what you do is you start small. You know, Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10 says, "For who hath despised the day of small things?" You know, many people do that. They don't want to start small. They want to be big immediately. And of course, your end goal should be to be big, if that's what you desire. But you don't want to despise those small things. You want to get the ball rolling, figure out your methods and how you're going to do things, how you're going to acquire inventory or whatever it may be, and build yourself up to that big point. You know, Job chapter 8 verse 7 says, "Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase." So don't fall for this idea of just jumping in and going big. And there's a lot of talk about that today, but it's the wrong attitude, the wrong mindset. Listen, you're not straying from thinking big. You're just understanding that if you're walking 1,000 miles, you have to take a few steps first. You don't just go from day one to 1,000 miles. You have to take the steps. And I know there's this urgency people put on themselves. There's this low attention span that many people have today from social media and stuff, and them being so addicted to their electronic devices, where people just want stuff immediately. And I get that. Of course, who doesn't want to be an ultra big success immediately? The reality is it's not how the real world works. And it's like that seed that grows up too quickly and it shrivels away just as quickly. You want to be the person that is on good ground. You've planted the seeds, you've watered them, you're now getting the harvest from your fruitful endeavors. Understanding it's going to grow to be huge, but there may be some time in between that, and that's all right. You're going to perfect your business. You're going to perfect how you do things. You're going to perfect how you hire employees. I mean, people don't even think about any of these things. They just think, I want to be big overnight. Who are you going to hire? And they say, well, I don't know. Well, it might be difficult, especially if you don't even know exactly how to do things perfect yet. How are you going to train anybody to do the things in your business that need to be done when you don't even know the right way to do them? That's where starting small comes in and is so important and valuable, because then you can build the instruction and the methods to explain to people how to do these things the best way, because you know from experience which ways worked best and which ways that they may think of. You've already tried because you started small and you've tried all these different methods. You know which ways work, and you know which ways don't work, and you know why they don't work, which is very important. And so you can explain all this and actually hire people and train them well. One big problem in business is that people are being trained by other people who don't know what they're doing very well. And you can see it in different businesses. Some businesses where you can just tell this owner of this business knows what they're doing because everybody's efficient, everybody's smooth, everybody is just really good at what they're doing. Now, of course, you have to hire good people for that, but you also have to train them well and know what you're doing yourself. If you just have this, I don't know mentality, and let's just try it this way for a while and see how it works, you can't do that to people. You're going to be a big business. You can't have changing rules and changing methods on a daily or weekly basis. You have to have stability. No one wants to be there where they don't know what they're going to do because you're going to change the whole way of doing things that day. There has to be some consistency. And you can build that consistency by starting small. You don't need any employees at first. You know, people always go run to, I need to get employees. It's like you're not even working a full 8 to 12 hour day yet. You don't need an employee. When you put in the work and you get to a point where you don't have enough time to do all the work that you need to do, then there's a time to bring somebody in. But until you've maximized your output, it's just fruitless to be hiring somebody else to come into a business when you haven't been putting your all. And one of the big problems is, because what happens in those businesses is that person just sits back and lets the other person do the work they should have been doing. So it's not like they're getting double the work done because now they're working their full 8 to 12 hour days and now they got an employee working 8 hours a day. No, they're working less now because now they got an employee. So they're paying somebody and they're getting the exact same, or realistically probably less output than they were getting before just by themselves. And that is the makings of a failed business. So be wise. Don't despise the day of small things, the small beginnings. Understand that you are going to grow. You're going to get better. You're going to be wiser. Your business is going to grow, and it might be small at first, but it is going to become big, massive, and successful because you're doing things the right way, and you're seeking the wisdom of the Lord. You're walking in the leading of the Spirit, and you are getting things done each and every day. You're not slothful in your business. You're diligent in your endeavors. You're diligent in your business, and you're going to get great results. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.